How about this, Susan? Is Valentine's Day a great time to propose?
I think it's a fabulous time. I think it's, the most romantic time there is, I really do. And what could be more wonderful? Because then even if you want to have a June wedding, so it's a little bit over a year. If you want to do a quick, small wedding, if you're older and it's not going to be like a big thing with bridesmaids and all the rest of it, you could still manage to get married in June. I love marrying people, by the way, so I do that. So I love Valentine's Day as a night for proposal. And of course, as a guy, you'll never forget that that's the night you proposed.
Oh, yeah. That's an easy one.
Because that can be quite awkward. If you come home years from now and your wife gives you a card and you don't know what it's for, and then you go, oh my God, that was the night I proposed. Yeah.
Got to keep that romance alive
You
all
do.
year long.
No matter what it takes, you do.
Now, do you have some suggestions for some great Valentine's Day proposals?
It's specific to the woman you're proposing to. And it's specific to your budget. So there are a million fabulous things that you can do. You can look in any magazine, any travel magazine, and even in the AAA magazine, if what you can afford is a road trip, there are a million things, but make it special. Make it as special as you possibly can, because the amount of love and the amount of commitment and the amount of creativity and imagination that a man puts into Valentine's Day is going to make all the difference in the world to a woman, all the difference. So really go for it 1,000%, whatever that means to you.
That's beautiful. I observed not long ago a couple, a young man at the top of the Riviera, top of De La Guerra, and he had a candle lit, a couple of glasses.
Aww.
I knew he was going to propose as soon as the girl showed up. And as I drove by, I was thinking, oh, this is so romantic with the sunset. And there was no expense to it, but it was
That's
just so
cute.
beautiful, simple, sweet, and I'm sure it was a yes. I'm sure of it.
So cute. And there are so many movies where if you're in an urban environment, the guy creates something fabulous on the roof, of an apartment building, which obviously has no cost. Strings lights and caters a meal and has a musician, whatever it is. And, if you're a musician, never forget Romeo and Juliet in the balcony and all that. So you see so much of that in Europe where people are hiring a musician. So many apartments have balconies. So it's very, very cute. Again, if she likes music, it all depends. This is the opportunity to show your girlfriend what you understand about her preferences. That's the key.
Now, this situation, what do you do if you want to buy some time without hurting someone's feelings, if you really care about the person, but you're just not ready at that particular time to commit?
Well, that's a very fascinating question, because it depends, of course, how committed you are. So if you're in a committed relationship and you're willing to live together but not marry, then that's one answer, right? So then you have to talk about it. You have to let her know that you're not quite ready, but you're ready to do this. So the question is, what are you ready for? It's a little more tricky if you're already living together and you're not ready to propose. That's why so many people give promise rings, a really beautiful promise ring. And listen, a promise ring can look like a wedding band with, diamonds all around it, baguettes of diamonds, why not? So you can have any kind of a promise ring. And it is a commitment on the road to a commitment. And I think that the most important thing with women is women in this day and age don't care as much about getting married, certainly as they did even 10 years ago. But they will always need a commitment from you. Because if a woman is going to become pregnant and spend 9 months really focusing almost entirely on creating a baby and all the things she's giving up to do that, and then going ahead and giving birth, and all the things she's going to give up by being a mother, even if she's thrilled to be a mother, but still, that's a huge commitment on her part. What she needs to know is that you are as committed as she is, and that's key for you.
That's very nice. Very practical, as usual. Now, one change in recent years is that last year, in 2016, men spent double what women spent on Valentine's Day, and I'm wondering, why is that surprising?
Well, when you and I were growing up, women really didn't spend anything. So the fact that men spend double, that doesn't surprise me at all. The fact that they only spend double is what's, really, really surprising to me. And I was able to find so many statistics. I told you some of them already, but we're talking about, let's see, $3.8 billion is the total amount that will be spent by the 36.6% of couples planning a night out, as all of them are not planning a night out. $79.68 is the average per couple cost of the Valentine's Day evening out. So you do the math, right? You get that. But 32% of all couples buy Valentine's Day gift at discount stores. So lots and lots of ways to figure this out. Again, there's an answer in every budget. There's an answer depending on what your preferences are.
There are no excuses, right?
None.
The Pulse poll shows that 70% of the married men pursued the woman when they began their relationship. And why do women need to know? What do they need to know about being pursued?
Well, first of all, the percentages of fabulous men versus fabulous women is a very problematic situation these days, right? There are a lot of really fabulous women who are looking for partners and haven't found them. And I work with them. I work with men too, but I work with women, and I'm telling you, let me be the one to tell you, if you're a fabulous woman, you have to step your game way, way up. Way, way up. Because I'm doing a video training right now, which is on Facebook, and you can go to my Facebook page and find it. And it's how to marry a billionaire or a fabulous guy. It doesn't matter. If you're looking for a fabulous guy, a billionaire if you want a lot of power in the world, a guy who's very wealthy if you have other needs. But in any case, you've got to be as beautiful as possible. You've got to be as fun as possible, sexy, sweet, seductive. You've got to have a career. You can't be waiting around for some guy to show up, as if you're Cinderella. I mean, you really have to have your act together. And unfortunately, I have to tell you the bad news, that you have to be very thin. That is the common denominator of every single successful man I have ever worked with. Like it or not, you have to be very thin. Aesthetics mean an enormous amount. And the competition is really beginning to be aesthetics first, and then you can get away with a lot of other things. So that's the area where you can't compromise. I mean, you really can't. And also, it's really interesting. There's also the Pulse poll. 35% of married adults say they met their significant other when they least expected it. Now, what I like about that statistic, and I tell people that all the time, it can happen to you at any minute. I was just telling a client yesterday, well, when you get into the airport in LAX, you never know who you're going to meet. When you're in the lounge, you never know who you're going to meet. When you're on the plane, you never know who you're going to meet. When you get off the plane, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So a trip of any kind, a business trip for sure, is just a fabulous opportunity to pass by thousands of people. One of them could be your next husband or wife.
Oh my, love is in the air after all.
It is.
Well, now what about disappointment in this love around this holiday? How do you let someone down very easy?
I think the most important thing, as I said before, is you don't pick them up, you know? If someone isn't for you, stop it as fast as you can. By 3 dates, you know if somebody has the chemistry for you or doesn't. By 6 dates, you know for sure if you want to wake up next to this person for the rest of your life. You just know. You're either bored, or you're not turned on, or you're annoyed, or you're disgusted, or whatever it is. And that's a really good way of deciding if you're going to move on. And do yourself a big favor, and do that other person a big favor, and move on. You know, move on. Because you don't want to leave dead bodies in your wake. There's no benefit to you. You will feel bad about it, even if you're the most indifferent human being. And then on the other side, I have to say, if someone's in love with you and you're not in love with them, the truth is normally you don't suffer. You know, and particularly when you're young, you really don't care. So avoid, avoid, avoid. That's the strategy that really works. You know, because you'll feel bad if somebody is, you know, weeping in your presence, but it doesn't really affect you because they don't have your heart and it's no big deal. But as you get older, I can tell you, you'll look back, maybe in the middle of the night, as I have a couple of times, and go, oh my goodness, that wasn't very nice. You don't want to do that. Luckily, the person I wasn't so nice to forgot. It was really very funny. You forgot all about it, so okay.
We don't want to have those regrets. We want to be honest and open, especially when it comes to matters of the heart.
Yes. Yeah, because you know that the next woman will pay. You know, or the next guy will pay. So if you treat somebody badly, you know how you date these people and they have all this baggage and it's a nightmare and you can't deal with it and you get rid of them and move on? Well, guess where they got the baggage from? From people treating them badly. So avoid it, please.
Now that's a beautiful, beautiful bit of advice.
Thank you.
Now, when someone looks too good to be true, how do you know if she is really too good to be true?
You know they are. You know they are. You know that there's something that isn't perfect with everybody. Something, whatever it is. There's always something. And that doesn't mean that that something is the worst thing in the world to you, but that something may be why the last guy or the last woman moved on. You just have to find the person who has that something that doesn't bother you at all. You know, I mean, if a guy wanted to go out with me and he wanted a woman to be athletic, he was making a big mistake. I mean, it was ridiculous, you know. Or if he wanted to go out with a woman that was very tall, if that, you know, tall and willowy was his thing, he probably wouldn't have asked me out even once. So you've got to figure out, nobody's got everything. Figure out what your priorities are. If you want to send me your list of 50 to 100 attributes, be my guest, email it to me. Gigi will tell you the email at the end of the show, or it's already posted. And just be sure these are only positive words. So you don't say he isn't or she won't. It's just positive words. So give me 50 to 100 attributes of exactly the woman you're looking for. But remember, don't give that list to a matchmaker. They'll shoot you, you know? They'll rip it up because that's not their job. But if you're speaking to God and really merging with the divine and looking for this perfect partner, looking for the perfect relationship, dreaming about him or dreaming about her, then you need your full list. The purpose of the full list is to ask the divine, God, but also so that you can get clarity. The person who needs to have absolute clarity about the woman or man you're looking for is you. And I can tell you, nobody really has clarity when they call me. They have a general idea, but they think that if they're kind of nebulous about it, it's a good idea. And I'm telling you, that's where you have the problem. You're not crystal clear about who you're looking for, so you don't ask for it, you don't pray for it, and you don't get it. Become crystal clear. Think of it like a job. So if you live in Southern California and you're looking for a job, you probably don't want a job in Nebraska or North Dakota or South Dakota or most of the other states. You probably, living in Southern California, you love it here. So geography. You know how much you need to earn. You know how much you can earn. You know what your job description is. You know lots of things. That's how you get your next job. Same thing is true. That's how you get your next relationship.
There's a lot behind it, not just thinking that you are choosing to make a decision to love someone. There's so much depth, and I know that you really help people with that insight.
Well, because very few people can just make up their mind to love somebody. You know, I wish we could. It would be easy. Then we could be with anybody. You have to really have enough of your needs met. You know, you have to have a certain level of attraction that lasts a lifetime, which is already near impossible. I mean, really. I mean, think about that, right? If you're supposed to be selecting one partner. Now, I am prejudiced because I've seen how rare it is, but that obviously has to be a key attribute that you find, because you can't be with a partner who doesn't really attract you and then be expected to just be with that partner. So that's got to be right up at the top of your list.
And she has a great list for
Yes.
clarity.
Yes.
That I appreciate that.
Yes. I
Very
can
helpful.
guide you if you're a man, guide you if you're a woman.
She wants to marry you. She doesn't. She wants you.
Want to marry you off. I want to marry you off. I don't want to marry you.
Oh, that's it. Enough of that. Now, how important is Valentine's Day if you're already in a committed relationship or if you're already married?
You know, there's nothing worse than having to rekindle a fire once it's gone out, right? And particularly if you don't have matches or you don't have a lighter. So the smartest move that any man can make, in my opinion, is letting his partner know that he really loves her a few times a year. If you think about the cost of a divorce, then there's nothing less expensive than a lovely gift on Valentine's Day, a lovely gift for her birthday, a lovely gift for her anniversary. If you have children, a lovely gift for Mother's Day, and a lovely gift at Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever holiday you celebrate, right? That's just common sense to me. It doesn't look like anything but common sense. I think that was the last question that we had.
Yes, it was.
Yes, okay, good. I mean, we could chat about this forever.
Oh, we could.
We could just talk, until tomorrow.
Your other marriage proposals.
Anytime. I can tell you all about them. Anytime, guys.
Well, gosh, Susan, we do have a few moments to explore. And so with the clarity that you help people and how you assist them in really being clear on their needs and what they really want, how does that work out for them? I mean, it might really require a lot of brainstorming.
You mean, how does it work in them finding a partner?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's the only way to find a partner. If you don't know what your key needs are and you don't have a clear list of your priorities, then you're lost. So now it's going to be trial and error, and you're going to be breaking your own heart and everybody else's. You're like an accident waiting to happen. If you didn't know what you wanted in a job and you didn't know what your qualifications were and you didn't know any of that, how would you know how to get a job, right? And you'd get it and you'd quit, or they'd fire you for sure. So the same thing is true in relationships. Now in relationships, you then, when you meet somebody who may meet enough of your needs, trust me that you got to figure out if you meet enough of hers. Because I don't want to work with another person who's heartbroken if it can be avoided. So what are her needs? Well, if you're very, very successful, then she has to be ambitious too if she's going to marry you. She won't otherwise. She may want a guy who spends all day, writing poetry and making love to her. And you're a guy who gets up and goes off to the office and makes millions of dollars and makes a huge difference in the world. It's not a match at all. She needs a beachcomber or a surfer, and you need a woman who likes to wear heels and makeup and do her hair and goes to business dinners. Not every day, not every week, but who can do it when she's called upon to do it. It's really, really important. And if you're a physician, for example, you have to marry somebody who's proud to be married to you and understands. And if you have to go somewhere in the middle of the night or in the middle of the day unexpectedly, you need a wife who is, the quintessential doctor's wife, as my mother was. Whatever he had to do, she understood. No, really no questions asked. So depending on who you are as a guy and who you are as a woman, you can really imagine the kind of partner that's good for you. Some women need a guy who comes home every single night, and some women like me, if he travels, I'm thrilled. Please travel, Do me a favor, do yourself a favor. Don't cheat while you're traveling, but please travel.
There you go. And when you meet up, it's wonderful.
Yeah. And I was always surprised that there are so few men who can operate that way.
Oh.
There are lots of women that I've known in my life and who've been my clients who can be alone 2, 3, 4, days a week if they need to, if there's a common goal. And, not fool around with other guys, have their career, raise the children, whatever they have to do. But very few men that I've found who are able to do that. Unfortunately.
Yeah, so it's a matter of that dance of romance.
Yes.
And contributing to what's best for the relationship and each other's needs really being fulfilled.
That's right, and you have to understand someone's needs without asking them what they are. You'll never get an honest answer. People don't even understand the question. So that's why the first thing I teach people is how to finesse for information, how to guess what someone may be needing, and then they'll tell you yes or no. But if you just come out and say, well, I just was wondering, are you a monogamous guy? Yeah, tell me a guy who's going to say he's not. Good luck with that.
Well, we're being real here. It can go either way. That's for sure. So I would just like to say in conclusion, whether you're looking for love or if in fact you are in a new love relationship and if you want to make your passion and love last a lifetime, please do watch any of the at least 100+ shows that Susan and I have done together and that are on her YouTube channel. So please remember also that Susan does offer that 1-hour private telephone session for whatever your needs